we're here waiting. Because that's literally like 2/3 of what we do every time we come to any kind of convention or whatever. So we're here about an hour and a half early. A lot of people are waiting. We have no idea what we're doing today. Normally I come in with a plan, and for this I was just like, screw it, I'm so tired. Got too much to do. No plan. No plan. So, let's see what happens.
PAX, where people from all walks of life gather together in celebration of one singular purpose: playing some frickin' video games. And being the lucky duck I am, I actually got to play several really interesting small and indie games from smaller studios. A lot of them were in early access, alpha, pre-alpha, and some are even up for voting on Steam Greenlight right now. The first game I got my hands on, though, wasn't really any of those things. It was a little something being published by our friends at Devolver Digital, the same people who brought us Serious Sam, Broforce, and everyone's favorite avian dating sim, Hatful Boyfriend. The game is Omnibus, developed by Buddy Cops. It's a single stick driving game in which you can't slow down, you can't accelerate, or control it at least, you can't drift, you pretty much can't do anything except pray and hope for the best. In the demo I played, it was a free-for-all demolition style match with the last man standing as the winner. Details are on their Steam page on the website. I'm putting all the links down in the description. Go check this ridiculous thing out. So the next game was called Flat Kingdom by Fat Panda Games out of Yucatan, Mexico. And it's a kind of a Metroidvania style sort of puzzle platformer side scroller. And it has this very, very definitive papercraft aesthetic, and it's actually got a soundtrack by Manami Matsume, who was the composer and sound designer of the original Mega Man series, and she also did Shovel Knight and like Mighty Number 9. So you play as the main character Flat, who's a little critter who can change into 3 shapes: circle, square, and triangle. And each of the 3 shapes has a different ability. Circle can double jump, triangle can go really super fast, and square is heavy, so he walks slow, but he can push blocks and crap. And there are these enemies and bosses later that actually use a rock, paper, scissors style combat technique like you see in Mega Man, wherein one shape is more effective against the enemy than any of the other shapes. And what was really fun about it, when I liked it the most, was that switching between shapes was really super easy. It was just a matter of which face button you were pressing, because we were playing with PS4 controllers. So it was just a single button press, you change shapes. Because a bunch of the puzzles actually rely on you doing quick changes of shapes. One of the puzzles, you actually had to double jump up as circle, and in the air switch to square, so that when you landed, you were heavy and you dropped down a switch. So there was really interesting things. I only got to play with the first couple of levels, but the controls were tight. It had a very clear goal of where they wanted to go with it, and it was a really fun game. If you're into things like the Castlevania and Metroid and Mega Man, it had definitely had a lot of influences from those games. You could really feel it. And all the old retro platformers. So that game. So the other game that was being shown off by Fat Panda Studios is a game called Don't Mess with a Lobo with Shotguns. It is basically at its core just an old school style arcade side-scrolling brawler. And it has this grindhouse, Robert Rodriguez 80s pulp comic feel to it. And it's just no holds barred. I'm a werewolf, you stole my girlfriend, so I'm gonna beat up literally everything in the underworld to come get her back. And you're shooting eyeballs out of your shotguns, and you're kicking stuff and punching people, and things are exploding. And the whole time, you've got this voice, this deep, throaty, snarky voice in your ear telling you either you're rocking it or you're sucking, depending on, you know, how well you're doing. And I guess either despite its simplicity or because of its simplicity, it was one of the funnest games I played in a while. And it's coming out on Steam this year as well. We're really looking forward to it. Don't mess with a Lobo with shotguns.
I'm a big Ring Man fan, so I got 2 of the Ring Man already. You guys got 3DS? You got 3DS? I got the 3DS, the regular 3DS, not 3DS.
So these next 2 games I played back to back, so I'm going to kind of talk about them together. And that is Rivals of Aether, developed and published by Dan Fornice, and Brawlhalla, developed and published by Blue Mammoth Games. I'd actually heard about Brawlhalla first and was anticipating playing it. And Rivals of Aether I found out about later and was like, oh, that's cool as well. What's interesting about both these games is they're both 4-person fighting games, born of Super Smash Brothers. But even though they're, you know, from the same mama, they kind of took away different ideas, and that's very interesting to see. What you see with Rivals of Aether is all the characters have very unique movesets to them. You have your quicks, your heavy, and your smash. Each character is slightly different, directional, your standard Smash gameplay. What Brawlhalla decided to do instead was theirs is more stats-based. Some people are faster and slower than others. Obviously, it's the way in Aether too. But Brawlhalla basically has what appears to be like 6 weapons, and each character has a combination of whatever weapon. So each character has 2 weapons of those 6. And each combination works a little bit differently. That's like the basic mechanics of how they're different from one another. There's also a lot of little things that are quite a bit different between the 2. Aether actually does have a full story mode. It has things that you're more likely to see like back from earlier Smash with the classic mode, waves of enemies, that sort of thing. Brawlhalla does not have a story mode, but it does have 3 alternative versus game modes. Brawl Ball, Bomb Ball, and like Snow Brawl, where you can keep fighting against each other. Mechanically speaking, since I played them back to back, I got to be able to compare this. Mechanically speaking, if you were a fan of Super Smash Brothers Melee, you're more likely to like Rivals of Aether than the other. And if you are more accustomed to Super Smash Brothers Brawl and the Super Smash Brothers 4, you're probably more likely to like Brawlhalla. I've been playing the ever-loving crap out of Brawlhalla the past 2 days. I'm getting pretty good at it, I think. And I'm actually going to be throwing it into my queue for streaming on occasion. So you'll see more of that from me personally. They're both in early access on Steam right now. Brawlhalla is going free-to-play with in-game purchases for skins and in-game purchases with currency, like in-game currency. Aether will run you about $15, but it should be the full game. Go check them both out. If you like Smash Brothers for even an instant at some point when you were 9 years old, you're gonna like these 2 games. They're definitely different, and they're really interesting. And it's like taking what you love about Smash and finding it in a new game with new characters and a new story and new methodologies. And they're both really cool, and I recommend you go check them out. On our way out, we decided to hit up some of the games that were quite a bit earlier in their development process. One of them was Fortune Fighters, which is going to be a free online arena hack and slash game. Basically, you pick up your controller, you pick up your weapon, and you just beat the ever-loving crap out of each other. You get loot, you get kills, you build up the devotion of your clan, that kind of thing. When they were running the demo, they were also running like a co-op aspect of it, trying to show that sometimes they're going to need to fight each other, sometimes you're going to need to work together. There's still not a lot of information out about it yet. I know their site's not quite up online yet. They are seeking votes on Steam to get accepted into the Greenlight program. So if that sounds like the kind of game you might be into, definitely go check out their Steam page. It's down in the description. And upvote it if you think that's the kind of thing you'd like. Quest of Souls from King Crow Studios was our last game of the day. So basically the game is a from top to bottom auto shoot, like asteroid style. So you have enemies coming at you and you're trying to pop them off. Really, it's really easy to pick up and play. It's still kind of early in the development process, so they may add some more stuff later. But it was a really easy game just to pick up. What the hell am I doing? All right, done. Bam, let's do this. And I love those kinds of games a lot because they're just really like, sit down, I'm just going to play it, and I'm going to just go and see what happens. So go check them out on Steam, watch some of their videos. They're still doing a lot of development with it. They're putting out new characters. They're talking about their new stuff. Follow it. They've got some cool stuff going on. They're Steamlit? They're greenlit on Steam already. And they're hoping, I think, to put it out late this year, early next year, was what I recall them saying. So go check them out. Link is down in the description.
So, we return. Our journey complete. Monsters slain. Quest fulfilled. Princesses rescued. Damsels distressed.
Looted.
Looted. From PAX. This was a really good year. We went last year, and it was the first year for PAX South. So I think there's a lot of stuff that still needs to get worked out.
It was still fun, but this was better.
It was still fun, but this was a lot better. I got to demo a lot of games, both board and video games. There weren't really any panels, but that's fine. Got to see a lot of really, really cool stuff. And I just love it. Just love it, you know? Just love it. Alright, Pixels and Pins out!